Hey, welcome back to Spicy CEO's Big Spice Experiment. And today, we talking about curry. Plus, I'm gonna show you how to turn this into this. We're gonna get started with allspice. Next up, we have black sesame seeds, coriander, fennel seed, sweet paprika, turmeric, and white sesame seeds. That'll kind of round out our base flavors. Now, any of these can be used on their own or a combination with each other. So now we kind of move in to the sweet and tangy section of the blend. And for these, we'll start with aniseed, cassia cinnamon flakes, garlic flakes, nutmeg, onion, and Szechuan peppercorn. Then we have ancho chili, chile de árbol, dried green and red bell pepper, crushed ginger, New Mexico chilies, star anise, as well as tarragon. So in this last section, we added a little bit more chili flavor to kind of round out the heat that we want in the blend. We can go as hot as we want to, or we can have just that neutral, warm mouthfeel when you're doing your blend. Now let's get into the pungent spices. We have annatto seed, bay leaf, clove, thyme, fenugreek, mace, and green cardamom. Last but not least, salt content. For me personally, I like to do a 10% salt blend by weight, depending on the way that the spice is gonna be used. And I usually start with my spices as a rub. And when you talk about rubs, that means that you can put as much of this spice on a piece of meat as you want. And because of the low content and the balance of the spice, it'll just form a crust versus overpowering your food. Now that we got our spices all laid out, look how gorgeous that is. It's time to get it into a bowl, do a little bit of a pre-mix. Maybe you want to break down some of the larger chili peppers or bay leaves so that they can fit into your spice grinder. Now, I'm using a standard spice grinder as we kind of start processing this, but normally I use a hammer mill, which is a much larger machine for processing large quantities of spices. But for your purposes, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna go with a smaller spice grinder similar to the one that I'm using here. And there'll be links below to some great resources for you to pick up your own spice grinders. So what I like to do is I measured out the spices to do about 8 ounces total by weight. So of course, all of these spices can't fit into my spice grinder at the same time. So I'm just gonna section it out, grind up a little at a time, and I'll keep cycling it through until it gets to the texture that I want. And for me, I want more of a fine powder versus a coarse grind. Now, to avoid the grinder altogether, you can buy your individual spices already ground into a fine powder. And when you get it like that, you can just simply do your blends, make sure they're well blended, and store them for 24 hours until they're ready to use. But me personally, it's therapeutic to actually grind my own spices. So if you want to do that, make sure you get a grinder. All right, now that the grind done, this is the finished result. Perfectly fine powder. The fragrance is amazing, very floral, very spicy. When this touches any type of heat, it's gonna light up the room with sweet fragrances as well as smoky flavor. So make sure you subscribe. In the next video, we're gonna put this on some shrimp and some fish and try a couple recipes to see how versatile this spice blend is. I haven't given it a name just yet, and that's another part of the fun. When you create your own blends, you create the name. It now represents you, and you can change it as many ways as you want. All right, bonus contest. For those that subscribe, make sure you hit that button. Please go in the comments and tell me what you think about this blend, and from the ingredients that you saw, how would you use it? I'm gonna pick one commenter who's also subscribed to my page, and I'm gonna send you 4 ounces of this blend. Can't find it anywhere else? It'll come straight to you. So if you want to get in on the contest, add a comment, subscribe, let me know how you try this blend, and you could be the person that will get it in the mail as early as next week. So let me know what you think. Don't feel like making this type of blend yourself, but you want to try it. I have just the one for you. Try my Red Jerk Fusion blend. It's also as complex as this one. There's about 27 to 28 ingredients in that one. It's a combination of Jamaican jerk flavors fused with North African flavors. And the blend I used for that one is like a Moroccan Ras El Hano, which translates to top of the shop or the best blend the spice merchant has to offer. So when you give that one a shot, you'll get some of the complexity that you have in this one. And of course, I can't give you the exact recipe for this one because I got some special plans for it, new concept, and yeah, I'm saving that one for myself. But I'm going to include a recipe that can get you started below. Let's get into the top 5 things you didn't know about curry. Number 1, when you think about curry, you think about Indian cuisine. And in India, curry isn't a thing. These are just the type of spices that they use to flavor all types of foods. All houses have their own blend. There are thousands of variations and a multitude of ways you can combine spices that are native to India that you would think of as a curry spice. So I want you to remember that as we start making these spices, there are no rules. There are so many ways to make curry powder, and you can give it whatever name you want. But one thing I want you to remember is curry is something that's comprised of a multitude of spices. It can start from 5 and go up to even 30 ingredients in a recipe. Fact number 2, did you know that curry is a great rub for barbecue? Yeah, it's not just used for stew and gravies and meat and vegetables in a broth. Curry is great for all types of foods. So take the cap off your limits and try it on some new things. I love it just straight rubbed on barbecue, add it with a couple other spices, put it on the grill. You're gonna get some amazing flavors. When the flames start to blacken a lot of the spices that you have in a curry powder, it's amazing. So open up your creative juices, like think outside the box. When you get that curry powder, wherever you get it from, it's not just for stew or chicken and gravy and sauces like that. Try it on some other things. Trust me, you're gonna love it. Fact number 3. Now, this one may seem obvious, but you'd be surprised at how many people I've run into that don't know this, but curry doesn't grow on trees. There is no single ingredient that makes curry what it is. Curry is literally 10s, if not 20s, of different spices that are combined in a certain way to give you that signature flavor profile. So I've run into folks that'll see curry and they think, you know, there's one seed or plant that's ground up that makes curry powder. Like there's a curry tree. Nope, that's not true. Curry is a multitude of spices that are combined. And as I mentioned before, there are thousands or limitless combinations that you can use to make curry powder. Let's talk about health facts when it comes to curry. Now, I wrote these down so that I don't forget which ones to mention because I can't memorize everything. So here we go. Health benefits of curry. Now, lots of studies have been done on spices and antioxidants in all the different types of spices, anti-inflammatory effects. But here are some of the top things that curry powder can do for your health. Number 1, helps with inflammation. Number 2, heart disease. Number 3, digestive health. Number 4, high blood pressure. And also lots of cancer fighting agents. So when you think about adding curry to your food, what you're really adding to your food are seeds, tree bark, roots, leaves, ground into powder. If that's not health, I don't know what is. So when you start seasoning your food and you start making your own seasonings, just remember, you're not just adding flavor, you're adding health. Like you're literally eating your medicine. So go crazy, get the ingredients you need, and start getting creative in the kitchen. Hit the subscribe button, Thank you for checking it out. Thank you for becoming a taste bud. Catch you next time on Spicy CEO's Big Spice Experiment.